How long can you drive a truck with cracked cylinder heads? For those that know, this right here is my 99 Ranger. I bought it from this one guy that promised me it had 0 issues. He said, no, nothing's wrong with it, just needs some cleaning. Yeah, okay. I paid 1,700 bucks for this junk. It doesn't even work right. The truck itself looks pretty good actually. Besides that obvious clear coat peel, the truck looks okay. It has nice shiny chrome bumper with old cracked Michelin tires. When I saw the chassis, I was like, okay, it looks normal for the age. He even put the Ford freaking Ranger logo on there. Obviously, the first thing I did was test drive it. It drove horrible. I'm not gonna lie. In my mind, I was like, okay, as long as it works, I don't care if it sounds bad, as long as it works. Well, it actually sounds terrible. It did feel like it had bad O2 sensors and bad spark plugs, which I replaced along with coil packs, which is 2 of them for a 4-cylinder. And then I was like, yeah, this should be it. The truck should run great now. Well, it still ran horrible. I took it to my mechanic so he could check it out because I don't know what to do at this point. I'm already 400 bucks deep, which puts me at a total of 2,100 bucks. He was like, oh, cracked cylinder heads. Isn't that awesome? He was like, either we swap that or we swap the motor. And I was like, okay, how much for a motor? 2 banderonis. I'm not paying that. That's more than the truck was. So here's a very quick rundown of what we're working with here. 8 plugs for a 4-cylinder. Brand new spark plugs, brand new coil packs because the one that came with, both of them were cracked. And I'm not sure if you can see down there, brand new O2 sensor. You hear that? If only you could smell that. So, the truck is on its way out. It's running very rich, I think is what you call it, when it has too much fuel. I can tell because when I rev it multiple times, after about the 3rd or 4th step, it kind of like fatigues and floods, almost wants to cough and also stall. And if I do that too much, you start to get a smell of raw fuel. And also my gas tank drains super fast. By the way, 106,915 miles. Park, reverse, neutral drive. Stick shift. I knew those miles weren't original, obviously, but I did do research and the gauge cluster on these trucks specifically does go out pretty often. So I thought, you know what? The frame, okay, it's peeling, but it's not terribly rusty. The chassis itself, I mean, looks decent for its age. And I asked him because I'm such a chill guy and I was like, okay, maybe you would tell me the truth. Like, hey, how many miles does it actually have? He's like, oh, you know what? Maybe about 50,000 more than what it says on there. And I was like, okay, it's probable. He's probably lying to me, but not by much. At most 200K at most. I'd be like, okay, it's fine. 200K is fine. 350,000 miles. Yes, you heard me right. And he was even asking me, hey bro, are you gonna put subwoofers on there? What type of ridiculous question is that? The truck barely runs. Nevertheless, when life hands you lemons, you make lemonade. If this happened to me, it for sure happens to other people because a lot of people don't know what they're buying. In this situation, I didn't know what I was buying. So here's the test. If a person, without knowing anything, just bought a vehicle, didn't get it inspected, and just drove it like if it was normal, without knowing it had bad cylinder heads, how long could they drive it until it's obvious the truck has quit? Test number 1, the stall. I will put the clutch in, put it in first gear, and dump it without giving it gas. Clutch is in, first gear. Again, in case you missed it, clutch in, first gear, get in there. All right, by the way, the shifter doesn't work too well either. Nevertheless, again, I'll be very honest here. I don't see this truck making it to test 20. I just don't. This truck is so beat. Come on, come on. There we go. When I arrived to the trailer park that I bought this truck at, the truck was already warm. When this truck is already warm, it doesn't sound choppy. No, it sounds terrible, but still like more steady, you know? When this truck is cold, every time I get to a stop and I put it into neutral and let go of the clutch, or even if I rev it and let go, it wants to stall. Even if I'm not moving, it wants to stall. And when I'm shifting into second and third, it sounds super fatigued, almost like it wants to like bog down and just stall. He knew what was going on. That's why he didn't let me co-start it. He co-started 40 minutes before I arrived to his place. So guys, here's test number 2, fifth gear. All right, now clutch foot is backed off. Now just brake. If I let go of the brakes, the truck just keeps creeping forward, but it has not stalled yet. More brake. Well, turn it back on. Next, very scientific test here. What happens if I try to take off from 5th gear? Neutral. 5th gear. All the way in. Let's do a little bit of rev first, and then we'll do higher rev. A little bit of rev. Nothing happens. Now let's do high revs, because they just stalled this time. Let's go. Higher revs. 3,500. More. 3,500, let's go. Let me try a very scientific rev match here. Higher rev. Again. Okay, it officially did not take off from 5th gear. What happens if I dump the clutch on 1st gear with proper rev match? Come on, get in, get in, get in. There we go. I'm at 3,000. It's on neutral right now and I'm stopped and it wants to turn off. All right, we're good now. All right, so a vehicle officially will not take off from 5th gear. And apparently it doesn't matter how much rev I give it, because I was at like 5 to 6 and it did not go. It just stalled heavily. But from 1st gear, it did a disgusting jerk, but it did not turn off. It just dropped the revs all the way down and just kept rolling, creeping up slowly. Here we go. Pretty good burning. Okay, the 1st gear rev bouncing clutch dump. All the way in. The reverse into 1st gear drop. Get in there, get in there, get in there. Again, 1st gear doesn't want to go in when it's reverse. Come on, come on. Now, next test. I will put it in 1st gear and then I'm gonna shift directly into 5th. First. Let's go. First gear. 5th. Foot's all the way in. It just climbs up. Now, that one was a light work test. I'm gonna go in 4th gear and then I'm gonna put it in 1st. The money shift. 4th. Science. Get in there, get in there. That was not bad. Let's do it again. Fourth, 35 mph. First gear. Get in there, get in there, get in there, get in there, get in there. It still works. In full transparency, guys, this truck is proving to be way more reliable than they thought. I already dumped the clutch several times in different gears, rev bounced a couple of times, hit a couple of fat burnies with full rev bounces. I know I keep saying this, but for a truck with cracked cylinder head, this junk is working just fine. And 350,000 miles. These tests are no joke, and the truck is still running pretty good. So guys, this concludes day one. For what it is, a beat up truck that I got scammed with, it's taking these tests tremendously well. I'm talking very damaging tests. I mean, the money shift, especially 2 in a row, are terrible for any vehicle. Dropping it from 4th gear to 1st is no joke. Let's do a quick check to see how the truck sounds. For starters, it's not smoking, which is a very good thing. It doesn't feel super hot, it just feels normally hot. I honestly don't see any damage. I don't know if you guys do. Looks good to me. That sound is very unpleasant when it starts like flooding, but I mean, it does that since I bought it. And before I started the video, I fueled up to about 3/4 of a tank. I didn't do much driving, especially for a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, and it's already almost down to half a tank, so it's running very rich. It is what it is. That's the point of these tests. How much abusive torture tests do you think it's going to handle in the condition it's in and for the miles it has? So far, it's taken it pretty well, exceptionally well. I thought a lot of those tests were going to stall the truck, and they didn't. They just kept going. So this has been day one. The testing for signs shall continue. If you made it this far, you might as well hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share button, and I'll see you guys on day 2. I am out.